Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing well. I've got a video and it's about the IRS. The IRS is in trouble for a couple different reasons. They've just announced, and I'm going to run over that story, they are in the hole to the sum of around $20 billion. Big shortfall. This comes at a time where they were used to 4 years of exuberance or a lot of money because the last president, the current president, wanted to arm an additional, 45,000 agents. Why would they need to be armed? It's because a certain group in the government wants to destroy you by keeping you a slave to a system that keeps you working and making money for the man. And I'm not talking about the big, for your company, for the man being the government. The government has gotten too big. Type 1 if you agree with that. And now we are seeing a point, we're being completely overtaxed. We're being taxed on everything. You have income tax, property tax, luxury tax, sales tax. I mean, just name some of the different taxes below. It is absolutely horrendous what's going on. Well, now we have a president that is saying, I want to start making cuts in the government. I believe the first thing the new president should do is lay off the 45,000 agents that were just hired under this administration. But what we need that's so much more important is for you, the person listening to this video, to become wealthy and successful. And the reason why is what that happens is the more money the American people have, the more it forces back and pushes back the government. Most people don't understand that. Most people are afraid to start their own business, or most people just don't know where to start. And so I'm going to help with that. We're going to go through this story right now. Let me set this guy down. Let me try and block the sun. Sorry. I'm doing a Black Friday sale. It's down below. Most of my courses are 90% off. If you need a path going forward, checklists, things to do, how to start a business, how to buy real estate, how to learn real estate cycles, how to save tons of money on mortgages, how to buy tax liens and tax foreclosures, it's all down below. It's like 90% off, all right? How to buy crypto, all that stuff. You have no excuse, but you have to know the truth of what's going on. Now check these stories out. Right now, we have a massive call on certain social media platforms like X to abolish the IRS. If you agree with that, do me a favor, say no more IRS down below in the comments section. I want to see if you feel the same way. There is a way, if we needed tax, and remember, income tax began in the beginning of the 1900s, around, was it 1910, 1913? I'm blanking out right now on the date. Before that, our country was booming and building, not taxing its citizens. But the government figured out a way to confuse people and get them to buy off on this by saying it's only for the rich. Well, isn't that interesting? In this last presidential election, that's all you saw. On one side of the aisle, they're saying, hey, we're only going to tax the rich. We're only going to raise the rich's taxes. But what they do is they define what rich is. And most of you, they believe are rich, even though you do not feel that way. Think about the day before you could own a little boat to sit on this lake and not be taxed. Yet today, if you buy a boat, you get a luxury tax. If you have a pool, you get a luxury tax, right? The defining of tax, the tax system, is very important. And it is intended to keep you a slave. Check this out. Right now on X, there are massive calls. People are blowing up that platform for calls for Donald Trump or whoever is under his cabinet to start working to abolish the IRS. This story right here is very important. So the trending thing right now, the IRS seeks $20 billion more amid calls for abolishment. The IRS has announced a request for an additional $20 billion in funding. Social media reactions on platforms like X have largely been negative, with influential figures and users expressing views that range from the need for tax reform to the outright abolishment of the IRS. Discussions include suggestions for implementing a flat tax, a consumption tax as alternatives to the current tax system, reflecting widespread dissatisfaction with the IRS. So now check this out. Let's do this story out of the mainstream because this is actually trending right now. And do me a favor, put your thoughts on the IRS down below right now so everyone else can see it. Let's see here. Let's go to my email. I apologize. All right. This story, mainstream out of the Wall Street Journal. The IRS enforcement money has unexpected $20 billion hole. So that's after Biden has increased spending for the IRS. All of a sudden, they have a $20 billion hole. I wonder if that's been taken by some of the elites and all of a sudden, it's just, well, we can't figure it out where it is, just like what the Pentagon does every 7 years or so. They lose billions and billions of our dollars. It says the Biden administration officials rushed to quickly or to address the quirk in congressional funding before they leave office. That's probably because they did something they don't want you knowing about. The IRS's beefed up enforcement fund, initially intended to last about a decade, but could run dry in 2025 after budget cuts and a quirk in congressional funding that the Biden administration officials are hoping to address before they leave office. Because of language in the current law governing federal spending, about $20 billion of the agency's remaining $22.4 billion in enforcement funding is effectively frozen now, beyond an earlier bipartisan agreement that clawed back a separate $20 billion in enforcement funding. The Treasury Department just said this. The Deputy Treasury Secretary, Wally Adminio, said this was essential. It was essential that Congress resolve the problem quickly in its next spending bill by allowing the IRS to have access to those frozen funds. So I'm going to say right now, I believe that Congress should absolutely not allow those funds to be unfrozen. We need the IRS to stand true to their spending. This has been out of control for a long time. If you agree with me, type yes. If you think no, the IRS needs more money to hire more agents, to be armed, to come hunting for what they tell you are rich people, but just so you know, thank you, Keith22, I appreciate that. I need you to understand, they think that you are rich. If you are in the middle class or the lower middle class, say, I am, right down below. And I want you to understand, they are looking at you. They're coming for you because why? You're the masses. You hold the most amount of money, even if you feel like you don't have a lot of money right now, right? And I want to change that. I want to see that changed. This year in 2025, there's so many dang opportunities. It's insane. Coming in real estate, in crypto, starting your own business. When things get rough and rocky, that's when markets get volatile. That's when you make lots and lots of money. But I'm telling you right now, they are looking at you as the prey. 45,000 additional agents were hired so they could come after you. And this is serious. We're being taxed to death. And not only that, we have that hidden tax called inflation that the government has taken care of on our behalf by printing excessive amounts of money all the time while they get rich. It says here, and this is a quote, our concern right now is that because of this risk to the IRS and the uncertainty of it, the IRS is going to potentially have to make dramatic decisions like about stopping hiring. I'd love that. This was told to reporters on Tuesday. They are running low on enforcement dollars today. Now, I believe the IRS is going to come out and threaten that they can't give you your tax refund if they don't get this money. Think about that. They're going to use that to threaten you. Please give us more money, unfreeze these funds so we can hire more agents that are armed to come after more people, or we're not going to give you your refund. You know, the money we took out of your pocket, out of your paycheck. This is going to be disgusting. This is why it is so important that you become very successful, very wealthy fast. And I know it sounds crazy, but all it is, in your mind, it's a decision. One day you have to wake up and say, enough of this, I'm going to be successful. And you need to start doing things that successful people do. Learn as much as you can about finance. Learn as much about yourself as you can and start making better decisions. I know it sounds crazy and I don't want to insult people, but I've had to go through this my life. I do it all the time. I just learned a very hard lesson in life and business from some business partners that are taking advantage of a situation. I'm constantly learning, but I'm growing. And I want you to grow too. So let me know what you think about the IRS down below. I'm sure it's going to make for some amazing comments. And if you want to take advantage of any of my financial courses, then it's down below. For a limited time, I'm marking pretty much everything down 90%. So it's the Black Friday deal. The link's down below. I hope you guys have a great day. The Economic Ninja is out.